1. Introduction. My name is Tina, and this is my story. I live a simple life. My job is at a small flower shop. I love flowers. They are colorful and smell wonderful. My shop is quiet, but it feels full of life. I spend my days arranging flowers and talking to customers. It is a peaceful life, and I like it. One Sunday, the weather was warm and sunny. I went to the park, a quiet place I often visit. Green trees stood tall and birds sang. Many families were there and children played. I found a bench under a big tree and sat down. I watched the clouds move slowly. Suddenly, a small girl came close to me. She had bright, curious eyes and soft brown hair. She looked about 5 years old. She stood right in front of me and looked up. Then she said something that surprised me. Her words were clear. She asked, "Will you be my mom?" I did not know what to say. My mouth opened, but no words came out. I was completely shocked. This had never happened before. I looked at her, then around the park, trying to find her parents. Was this a joke? The little girl just stood there, waiting. Her eyes were full of hope. Just then, a man ran towards us. He looked worried. He was tall with dark hair. He quickly took the girl's hand. He said, "Sophie, what are you doing?" Then he looked at me. His face was red. He said, "I am so sorry. She sometimes does this." He pulled Sophie gently closer. He apologized again. His name was Jim. I managed to say, "It's okay." My heart was still beating fast. Jim said goodbye, and they walked away quickly. I stayed on the bench for a few more minutes. The park was peaceful, but my thoughts were not. I could not stop thinking about the little girl, Sophie. Her questions stayed in my mind. It was a strange Sunday. I went home, but the memory of the encounter stayed with me. 2. We meet again. After that first Sunday, I started seeing Sophie and Jim often. It was not planned, but it just happened. Every few days when I went to the park, they were there. Sophie would often see me first. Her eyes would light up, and she would run towards me. This made my heart feel warm. It was a pleasant feeling, like a reward. Sophie's attachment to me grew stronger with each visit. She was a little girl, full of energy but gentle. She would hold my hand tightly as we walked near the trees or watched the birds. Sometimes she would bring me little gifts. They were simple things, like a smooth stone or a drawing she made with bright crayons. The drawings were always of 3 stick figures holding hands. I felt a strong sense of pleasure when she gave them to me. It made me feel happy and important to her. One sunny afternoon, Jim came to sit on the bench next to me while Sophie played. He smiled a little. "She really likes you, Tina," he said softly. "It's good to see her so happy." His words made me think about Sophie's strong connection. It felt like something important was building, a new kind of memory forming. I looked at Sophie, laughing. Jim seemed tired sometimes, even when he smiled. I felt an urge to ask a question. "She is a sweet girl," I said. "Where is her mother?" Jim's mood changed quickly. His smile left his face and a shadow crossed his eyes. He looked down at his hands. The happy feeling from moments before dropped like a sudden crash. He took a deep breath. "Her mother, she left us," he said, his voice low and sad. He did not say more. It was a short sentence, but it carried much sadness. It also created mystery. I could see the pain in his eyes. I did not know what to say. The park, which had felt so bright, now seemed a little dimmer. I wanted to ask more, but I saw it was a difficult topic. Jim looked up, his eyes still holding that sadness. Sophie called out to him then, and he stood up, the deep conversation ending. I watched him walk towards his daughter, wondering about their quiet life and the secret sadness they carried. My thoughts were full of them, and I felt a strong pull to be near them. 3. A night at their house. One afternoon, Jim came to my flower shop. He looked very tired, more tired than I had ever seen him. His face was pale, and his eyes were red, as if he had not slept for many nights. He walked slowly to the counter, his shoulders slightly bent. He looked at me with a sad, tired expression. "Tina," he began, his voice low, "I need your help. Sophie is very upset today. She misses her mom, and she keeps asking for you. I have an important work meeting tonight, and I cannot be here. I have tried to find someone to stay with her, but everyone is busy." He paused, looking hopeful but also desperate. "Would you, by any chance, be able to babysit for one evening, just for a few hours?" I thought for a moment. I saw the worry in his eyes. I wanted to help them. Sophie was such a sweet girl, and Jim looked truly in need. "Yes, Jim," I said, giving him a small smile. "I can come. I will help you. Don't worry about Sophie." A small wave of relief passed over his face. He thanked me quickly and promised to send his address. That evening, I went to Jim and Sophie's house for the first time. It was a very big house, much bigger than I had imagined. It stood quietly on a street with many trees. Inside, the rooms were large and clean, but they felt very quiet, almost empty, even with many nice things. The air felt still. Sophie was waiting for me at the door. She ran to me and gave me a big hug, her small arms tight around my waist. She was clearly happy to see me. We went into the living room. Sophie brought a big, heavy photo album. She sat close to me on the soft sofa and opened it. She showed me many old pictures of her and Jim. They were smiling in most of them, looking happy. Then we came to a photo with Jim, Sophie, and a beautiful woman. They were all standing in a garden, laughing. Sophie pointed to the woman in the picture. Her voice was small and quiet when she spoke. "This is not my real mom," she said, looking up at me with big, serious eyes. My heart felt a little strange inside my chest. I did not know what to say to that surprising comment. I just held her hand gently. We spent the evening playing with her toys and reading storybooks. Sophie told me about her day at school, and showed me her drawings. The hours passed quickly as we laughed and talked. It was very late, almost midnight, when Jim finally came home. The sound of his key in the lock broke the quiet. He looked even more tired than before, but a soft smile touched his lips when he saw Sophie sleeping peacefully on the sofa, her head on my lap. He walked over quietly and gently picked her up, carrying her carefully to her bed upstairs. When he came back down, he stood in front of me. He thanked me many times, his voice full of deep gratitude. "Tina," he said, looking straight into my eyes, "you saved me tonight. Thank you so much for being here. You are so good to Sophie. I don't know what I would do without you." His sincere words made me feel a deep warmth inside. I felt our connection growing stronger and deeper, like a plant growing strong roots in rich ground. It was more than just a job or a favor. It felt like something truly important was starting between us, a new kind of bond that was special and real. I knew this night would change many things for us. For a big surprise. It was a busy Tuesday morning at the flower shop. I was arranging fresh roses when my eyes caught a newspaper. The headline was big: "Famous CEO's divorce finalized." Under the headline was a large photo. It was Jim. My heart jumped. Jim? A CEO? I quickly read more. The article said James Anderson, the CEO of a big company, had recently divorced a famous actress. This was a huge surprise. My brain felt fuzzy, and it was hard to think clearly. The news was a big shock. I felt shocked and a little angry. Why did he not tell me? He had seemed so normal. My mood went up and down fast. I felt anxious, and I knew I needed to talk to him. My thoughts raced. That evening, Jim called. He wanted to know if I could babysit Sophie again. I said yes, but my voice was quiet. When he arrived, I looked at him. I knew his secret. "Jim," I started, "I saw the newspaper today." He looked at me, his face changed. He looked sad. "Oh, Tina," he said softly, "I wanted to tell you." We sat down. He explained everything. He was tired of the spotlight and wanted a normal life for Sophie and himself. He wanted people to like him for him, not his money. He felt calm with me, away from the noise, saying I helped him feel normal. Public life made him feel tired and unfocused. As he spoke, I listened. I saw the tiredness in his eyes and his wish for peace. I started to understand. Being famous and rich was hard. His reasons made sense, and my anger slowly went away. My brain processed the information, but something else grew inside me. As I listened, a different kind of feeling started. It was a warm, pleasant feeling. I realized I was developing real feelings for him. It was more than just helping a friend. It was a deeper connection. This feeling felt lasting and important. I knew my life was about to change. 5. She is back. It was a quiet evening. Sophie and I were playing a game in the living room. She was laughing, and her happy sounds filled the big house. A warm, good feeling spread through me. It was nice to be there, just us two. Sophie showed me a drawing she made, a picture of a sun and two smiling people. My heart felt light. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. It was loud in the quiet house. Sophie looked up, her eyes wide. I stood up and walked to the door, wondering who it could be. When I opened the door, a woman stood there. She had bright, perfect hair and a shiny dress. She looked very glamorous, like someone from a magazine, but her eyes were hard. "I want to see my daughter," she said. Her voice was strong and cold. It was Jim's ex-wife. Sophie heard the voice. Her happy feeling disappeared quickly. She became quiet and moved fast, hiding behind my legs. Her little body shook a little. It was like a sudden drop from a very happy place. Her mind seemed to struggle to understand what was happening. She held onto my leg very tight, her small fingers digging into my pants. Just then, Jim came down the stairs. He stopped when he saw the woman. His face changed. His calm mood went away. He looked surprised, then angry. "What are you doing here?" he asked. His voice was low but strong. The woman laughed, a short, sharp sound. "I am here for Sophie, of course," she said. "You left her," Jim said. "You left us. Why are you here now?" Their words were like fast, sharp things. It was a lot of energy, but it was not good energy. Their voices went up and down like a wild song. Jim looked tired and angry, like someone who had lost a good feeling and could not get it back easily. The woman's face also showed quick changes, from a smile to a frown, like she was on a roller coaster of feelings. She demanded to see Sophie, saying she had a right. Jim kept telling her she had given up that right. I felt like I was standing in the middle of a big storm. My own thoughts became unclear. It was hard to focus on anything but their angry words. My heart beat fast in my chest. I wanted the bad feelings to stop. I felt a strong need for quiet, for things to be simple again. It was like my mind was trying to find a peaceful place, a place of calm. Sophie was still holding on to me, her face hidden. This was a painful moment, a very public family fight, and I was caught right in the middle of it. I just wanted to protect Sophie from all the noise and anger. The air felt heavy with their conflict, and it seemed to go on and on, with no easy end in sight. 6. A fake plan. The next days were a blur. The media found out about me. They knew I was connected to Jim. Suddenly, my quiet life changed. Everywhere I went, there were cameras. People with big lenses followed me. They were called paparazzi. They waited outside my small apartment. They waited outside my flower shop. I felt scared all the time. I felt completely overwhelmed. It was like my brain was working too hard, trying to understand everything. My mind felt fuzzy, like I couldn't think straight. It was similar to when you have too much sugar, and then your brain feels slow and unfocused. I also felt more worried than usual, like my body was full of too much nervous energy. Jim saw how I felt. He knew I was struggling with all the attention. He came to me with a solution. "Tina," he said, his voice low, "we need a plan. The media is everywhere. They will not stop. They want a story and they are making things up." He looked tired, but his eyes were serious and kind. "We can give them a story, a fake one, a controlled story." My heart beat fast. I felt a mix of fear and a strange kind of hope. "What do you mean?" I asked him, my voice quiet. "A fake engagement," he explained slowly. "We tell everyone we are getting married. This will control the news. It will protect Sophie from all this attention. It will give them what they want, but on our terms." I did not like the idea. It felt wrong to pretend. It felt like a lie. But then I thought of Sophie. Her small, scared face from the other night, hiding from her mother. She needed protection. She needed peace from this chaos. I knew I had to help her. So I reluctantly agreed. It was a very big decision. Even though the plan gave me a small burst of hope, a sugar high of sorts, it was quickly followed by a feeling of deep worry. I knew this would be incredibly hard. We started to make public appearances. We went to events. We smiled for the cameras. We held hands. Jim looked strong and calm beside me, always protecting me from the flashes. I tried to look calm too. It was like acting in a play every day. But sometimes, when I held Jim's hand for the cameras, a strange feeling came over me. It was not just acting. It was like my brain released a happy chemical, a small reward. It made me want that feeling again, like when you crave something sweet after a long, difficult day. This feeling was surprising and confusing. After a public event, I often felt very tired and a bit grumpy, like after a big sugar crash. My mood would go up and down very quickly. Sometimes I just felt more worried than usual, like my body was full of too much energy, but the wrong kind. It was hard to focus on my flower shop. All I could think about was the next fake appearance, the next set of lies. But then I would think of Sophie, and I knew I was doing the right thing for her. This fake plan, this difficult situation, it was all for her. 7. A difficult time. The quiet life I knew was gone. Jim's ex-wife, a famous woman, started to fight back. She used the media. Every day, new stories appeared about me. They were not true. The newspapers and TV shows called me a gold digger. They said I only wanted Jim's money. They shared many fake stories about my past. My name, Tina, was everywhere, but it was not me they were talking about. My reputation was ruined. This constant attack made me feel very bad. My head often felt heavy. I was tired all the time, even after sleeping. It was hard for me to focus on anything. My mind felt cloudy. I tried to work at my flower shop, but it was difficult. Customers looked at me with strange eyes. Some people stopped coming. Others came just to stare or whisper. My shop, once a calm place, now felt like a spotlight was shining on it. It was targeted by the media's attention. I felt a deep sadness, like a heavy blanket over me. My mood would change quickly. One moment I was trying to be strong, the next I felt like crying. This constant worry made me feel anxious. My heart would beat fast and I could not relax. One afternoon I went to Jim's house. I was so tired of everything. "I cannot do this anymore, Jim," I said. My voice was quiet, but my words were strong. "The pressure is too much. I cannot handle it." I felt like I was losing myself. I looked at him, feeling lost and empty. Jim looked at me with wide eyes. He seemed desperate. He walked closer to me. "Tina," he said, his voice low, "marry me for real." My heart jumped. I was surprised. But then a question came to my mind. It was the most important question. "Do you love me, Jim?" I asked. I looked into his eyes, waiting for his answer. I needed to hear the words. I needed to know it was real, not just a plan to stop the media. But Jim said nothing. He just stood there, silent. His silence was an answer. It was like a cold wave over me. My heart broke into many pieces. The hope I had felt for a second disappeared. I turned and walked to the door. I could not stay. My body felt heavy, like I had no energy left. I left his big, quiet house. The world outside seemed blurry. I felt so alone. That night I was sitting in my small apartment, feeling the deep pain of my broken heart. My phone rang. It was Sophie. Her voice was small and full of tears. "Tina, please," she cried. "Don't leave me. Please don't go." Her words were like a sharp knife in my heart. Her crying made my decision even harder. I felt a new wave of worry. What should I do? My mind was a mess. 8. Our new family. A week passed. It felt very long. I spent my days at the flower shop. My heart felt heavy. I thought about Jim and Sophie often. I wondered if I had made the right choice. One sunny afternoon, the bell above the shop door rang. I looked up. Jim stood there, Sophie holding his hand. My breath caught. Sophie ran to me, hugging my legs tightly. Jim walked closer. He looked serious, but also hopeful. He held a small, dark blue box. My heart started to beat fast. He got down on one knee right there on the floor of my shop among the colorful flowers. He opened the small box. Inside, a silver ring with a clear stone sparkled. My eyes widened. He looked up at me. His voice was soft but clear. "Tina," he began, "I was silent because I was scared to lose you. I love you, Tina. I want to be a real family with you and Sophie. Will you marry me?" I looked from Jim's hopeful face to Sophie's bright, waiting eyes. Sophie was smiling, a wide, innocent smile. She looked so happy. All the fear and sadness from the past week disappeared. I knew my answer. I nodded and then I said, "Yes, Jim, yes, I will marry you." A huge smile spread across Jim's face. He put the ring on my finger. It fit perfectly. Sophie clapped her hands and cheered, "Yay, Mama Tina!" From that day, our lives changed. It was not always easy. We still had some challenges. The media still watched us sometimes, but it was less often. We learned to live with it. We built our new life together, step by step. Jim and I spent a lot of time together. We cooked meals, we laughed, and we talked about everything. Sophie was always with us. We went to the park, we read books, and we played games. Our home became a place full of warmth and joy. It was not a perfect family, but it was a real one. It was our family. Every night before Sophie went to bed, she would give me a big hug. She would kiss my cheek. Then she would look up at me with her sweet eyes and say, "Good night, Mom." Hearing that word, Mom, filled my heart with so much happiness. It was the best sound. I knew then that everything was going to be all right. We had found our happy ending, and it was just the beginning.